Thank you for joining me. The purpose of this demonstration is to give you a high-level overview of the 2020 Construction Cloud project management platform. But before we begin, I think that it is important to point out a few things about the 2020 Construction Cloud that set it apart from the rest. First of all, it is 100% web-based. What that means to you is that you can access it from anywhere in the world with any device that has a web browser. This is important because that means that the 2020 Construction Cloud does not require that you download applications for your mobile device. All of the field functionality can be done directly from your smartphone, your tablet, or your PC. The second important thing is that the 2020 Construction solution has a responsive design. Now, most people are probably not familiar with the term responsive design, but essentially what that means is that no matter what device you're using it on, the interface will adapt the screen size to that device. Now let me show you what I mean. Let's look at an RFI on a couple of different devices. First, let's take a look at the computer version. Here we're looking at a particular job, the Canyon State Gymnasium, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the RFI button at the top, and we'll be able to see the RFIs that are associated with this job. And if I click on one of them, we'll see our RFI. You can see that there's lots of space on either side of the form in the middle. We have a nice, easy to use layout of our RFI right here. Now let's take a look at that same RFI on an iPad. We'll pull up our iPad here and let's just hide this behind. And this is my actual iPad. I can move it around. And if I click the collaboration and document management menu, click on the RFIs, it's going to pull up a list of all of the RFIs for that Canyon State Gymnasium job. I'm going to click on the first one, the glue laminated construction, and we can see what the RFI looks like on an iPad. You'll notice that there's a little bit less space on the sides of the form, but overall we can see the entire RFI. It's easy to fill out, and we can see all the relevant information related to it. Using a tablet or a smartphone is nice because we can also use the dictation features that are available on those devices. So for example, if we put this in edit mode here, and we go down to our proposed solution field, you can see that on the device we actually have a dictation button here down here by the space bar. So we can select that, and this is what I think the proposed solution should be. I'll go ahead and hit done, and just with dictating, now we're able to speak the information that we would like to have entered into the field instead of typing. This makes it a lot easier to enter detailed information without having to worry about spelling problems or having to do too much typing. Now back to the computer version. A lot of time was put into the development of the 2020 Construction Cloud interface to make sure that it was easy to use. The job or the project is the fundamental place for everything pertaining to your project. And when you first log into the system, you start at the job list or the project list here. So here you can see a listing of all of the projects that are in the job. This is what we call a list view, and the list view simply contains a listing of all of the jobs or all of the contacts or all of the RFIs or all of the pieces of information that are in the 2020 Construction Cloud Platform. Looking at the top here, you can see that we have the ability to search. So if I wanted to find the Canyon, I can type in Canyon, and all of a sudden it's narrowed down my search so I can only see the Canyon State Gymnasium job. I can remove that, and now I can see all of my normal jobs. If I remove the normal filter, I can see that I have all types of jobs in here. I have normal contract jobs. I have template jobs that I might use to duplicate or to copy to make things simple and easier to create new jobs. So the ability to search through records, to filter, I only want to look at my normal jobs again, and maybe I want to group those jobs by something. So All of these features are available in all of the list views, as you will see as we go through the demonstration here. I'm going to click on this Canyon State Gymnasium job that we were looking at, and this is a form view. So again, ease of use is critical in the 2020 Construction Cloud Platform. So what we've tried to do is make everything available within 1 or 2 clicks. So we'll just kind of go over this a little bit. No matter where you are in this system, we have put in a breadcrumb. And the breadcrumb really just lets you know where you are. And you can always go back and click on previous links. So I can just click on that. It takes me right back to this job list. So again, we'll jump in there, and you'll notice at the very top of this form, at this job form, we have the status of this job. So graphically, visually, it is easy to see what stage this particular job is in. This one's in progress. And all of these statuses or stages are customizable. So that is another really key feature of the 2020 Construction Cloud, is that we can customize the screens, we can customize the fields, we can customize everything to fit your particular business and the way that you do things. At the top of this form here, we have a series of smart buttons. And certain buttons are visible and certain buttons are not visible depending on the functionality that you have loaded into the system. It's important to point out that 2020 Construction Cloud is an enterprise construction resource solution. And what that means, it's not just a project management solution, but also includes full construction accounting with job costing and analysis. It includes payroll, has a full CRM solution, contact management solution, inventory, equipment tracking, asset management, and we can see a number of those. If we click on the 2020 button up here in the top left-hand corner, we can see a menu that will give us access into a lot of the different applications or functionality inside of the construction management platform. It's important to understand, though, that none of this is required. You're not required to purchase accounting or project management or the CRM. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to have it installed. Project management works all by itself, and the accounting can work all by itself. We can develop integrations into your existing accounting system. It's very, very flexible and adaptable to your needs. So again, another great a great feature of this application. So again, looking at this, these smart buttons up here at the top give us quick access to important information about this particular job. We'll start over here at the left. The job does have a specific job calendar. So if we click on this, we will see this job calendar. We can just drag and drop to go through and create different types of events or meetings. Here we have a project meeting where we can put in employee meeting. We can define who the attendees are by selecting the drop down and selecting those attendees. Here we can put in what the details of this meeting is. Maybe this isn't an employee meeting, but maybe this is going to be a daily log. So if we select daily log, it will automatically change. We can give it a new title if we want up here. We won't, just in the interest of time, but we can go through and click on the weather, and we can add in weather items. We can put in employees and define the labor for this job for the day, materials that have shown up, equipment, subcontractors, etc. We have all the information necessary for this daily log, and we can save it and add it to our calendar, so that on our calendar we have a history of all of our daily logs. And again, from this calendar here, we can also click this icon in the top right, and it will show all of our entries in a list view. So, and in this list view, we have those filters and those group by features that we discussed earlier in the job. So again, another just nice way to access everything, and everything is nice and easy and standardized. Looking at our drawings, the drawings is our drawing management functionality inside of the project management platform. Clicking on here, we're able to keep track of all of the different drawings. And if we look at one of these, the foundation plan, for example, We can see what its name and number is, what job it's associated with, maybe what set of drawings this pertains to, its file name, its discipline, if there's a revision, and if this is the current set. Up here at the top, it also has smart buttons, so we can see the attachments and revisions. We can also see those attachments here, and if we click on those, it opens it up in a new window, and here I have those features to zoom in and take a look at this drawing in detail. Go ahead and close that. So with the drawing log, we're able to keep track of all the different drawings. Again, we can group them by discipline. We can see our plumbing and structural drawings and everything that's related to these. One of the neat features is the ability to assign actions to these. So I could go through and select all these structural drawings here, and I could click the action button and say that I want to email these out to a subcontractor. So when I click the email drawings, my email is going to pop up, and I can come in and I can put in the body of the email, or I could use a template. This just happens to be a play around template that I was playing with, but you can see I named it drawing, and you can predefine these templates and send them off. Punch lists, everything kind of works the same way. So if we go to the punch list, we're going to have a list view again that's going to show us all of the punch list items for this particular job. If we click on one, or we can create one from scratch, you can see that here's the details of this particular punch list item, who entered it, any tags that are associated with this, who it's been assigned to. We can give it a priority if we need to, and a description. And below we have all of the information related to this particular punch list item. We also can click the email button and we can send it out to the appropriate person. In this case, Brant Wadsworth. He'll receive an email letting him know that he's been assigned a punch list item that needs to be resolved. We'll scroll down here at the bottom, and you'll notice something that we have a activity log that is attached to all of the different forms inside of the system. So here we can see that this particular punch list item was created by the administrator. It was opened on 9/19 on May 31st. We can also come in here and we can write in our own messages. So I can write a message to all of the people that are following or receiving notifications for this particular punch list item. Right now it says we have one follower, and that's the administrator. I could add in other followers. I could add in Brant Wadsworth. There he is. So we'll save Brant, and he needs an email. We'll just skip that for now. But it's very easy to go through and add in followers that are already part of your contact management system. Or we could simply log an internal note, something that we don't want to have visible to all of our customers and all of the followers of this particular document. Next are specifications. Works very much like the drawing log. Here we have a listing of all of the different specifications. One of the things that we have as part of our specifications tool is the ability to import specifications here. So you can take your PDF spec book and you can use our tool here. You can select the job that you want it to be assigned to, upload your PDF specifications, and hit the create button, and it will go through and it'll read through that specifications book and pull out all the different specifications to create a listing like what we're looking at here. And attached to that would be the actual specifications to each one of these. So just like in the drawing, we have the ability to go through and select the specifications that we want. We can group them into packages, we can hit the action, and we can email them out. The RFIs and the submittals are more of a collaborative type document or form. We'll start here with the submittals and just click on one of them here. I'm going to put it in edit mode so that we can more easily see all of the different parts and pieces of it. So again, we're assigning this particular submittal to this job and defining what type of submittal it is. Maybe it pertains to a specific location of the job. We can see that this is submittal number 1 and revision 0. So this is the current active submittal. Below that, we have our important contacts and dates, who we received it from, when it was issued, and the ball in court. Again, all of these contact type fields are pulling from the contact database that's storing contacts and companies. Below that, we have the details related to the submittal, the specs. Again, it's going to be pulling from all of the specs for this particular job. And if there are any packages, we can assign it to the spec packages that have been created. The analytic account here is what some people might refer to as a cost code or a phase code, but this is the way that we can assign this to our job costing. Down below here, we can enter in a description. We can also use HTML tags. So if you're familiar with that, I know most people probably are not, but it does allow some ease of posting to the website. This is, again, 100% web-based, so we can add some visual appeal. The distribution down here is determining who's going to receive this particular submittal. So we have two different workflows that are built into the system. We have a sequential, which means that we'll send it to the first person, then the second person, then the third person, and the parallel will shotgun this submittal out to all of the people that are on the list. But again, just like the other items, we can define who those reviewers are, date that it was sent, the date that it was returned, any comments, and the state of this particular response. When this particular person, Adam Sandler, receives this submittal, I'll show you what it looks like here. This is another example of a template that can be used inside of a submittal, and this is the one that comes out of the box. So this submittal is received. We don't have a lot of the fields filled in the form, but we can see the information about the submittal here, some of the details down below, the description, etc. And when this is received in your inbox, all you have to do is click View Online, and it will automatically bring you into the system, and you can enter in your responses. So with this submittal, not only are we tracking the submittal, but we have the ability to track all the responses from everybody on the distribution list, all of their comments. If revisions need to be made, we can track those, and all the attachments are associated with it. So it's more than just a submittal log. It's a submittal engine. Really allows us to not only just keep track of them, but process them and organize them and more thoroughly keep everything in line. The RFIs work very similar to the submittals. Submittals are obviously a little more complicated. And we've kind of taken a look at an RFI already. So here you can just see a listing of some of those RFIs. We won't spend any more time on them. We can do that one-on-one if we need to. Here we can see, some of these are impacting schedules and costs, and we can filter these out. I want to see all of my RFIs, or I want to see all of those that have a cost impact, and we can see them here. Next, we have our cost analysis, and this is really our budget and our budget review. So if we click on the cost analysis here, we can see a listing of all of those analytic accounts, or the cost codes or phase codes, whatever you're used to calling them. And if I get rid of the filter at the top, we can see a listing of all of those accounts. They were actually grouped by division here, and I just removed that filter. So here we can see them all. They're all colored blue, meaning that this particular budget has not been locked yet, which gives us the ability to go through and make modifications to the original budget. Once we do go through and lock it, then the only way that we can make modifications to it is through the actions. So I want to make a modification here. Let's take $1,000 out of the contingency and put it over to the composite cleanup. So I'll select the contingency, click the action, and transfer budget. And I'll just let's take $1,500, and we said we were going to move it to composite cleanup. We can add a quick note. transfer. Okay. So now what that's going to do, sorry, head back to the budget here. So now that takes that $1,500 out of that contingency. It was at $3,500 and we put $1,500 here. So basically a way for us to make adjustments to these budget amounts without modifying what our original budget was. We are also keeping track of everything else, all the other costs and revenues that are affecting these budget accounts. Here we have our approved change orders and pending change orders. These are our prime contract change orders. Here's our revised budget. So our original budget minus our adjustments. Now we have a revised budget of $9,000. Our committed costs are our purchase orders and our subcontracts. And if you scroll down here, we can see that we have a number of these items that have been procured through purchase orders or subcontracts. Direct costs would be all of our other costs that aren't related to our committed costs. So maybe payroll expenses or other costs that were coded to these particular analytic accounts. We also have our pending commitment change orders here. Looks like we don't have any in this data, and that would affect our projected costs, our forecasted costs, and cost of completion to show us an over and under, whether we're over and under on these budgets. Again, taking a quick look at this, as we kind of go through here, the job, just like all of the other forms, also has an activity log. We're keeping track of everything that's happening on this job, and also can have followers. This one does not have any particular followers, but again, we can add followers or channels. Channels are just distribution groups or groups of followers. Adding in those messages or internal notes here really allows anything that happens to this job, those followers can receive email notifications or alerts about things that are happening or pertaining to this job. Down here below on the job form, we can see all of the pertinent information for this job. So here we have a listing of all the job contacts. And I'm going to go ahead and edit this so we can kind of play around with it a little bit. You can see, here's all the contacts, a contact list for this particular job. And we can just, again, go through and click the add button, and we can see a listing of all of the particular people that are in our contact database, and we can add them to the jobs here. On the contracts tab, we would have our actual contracts. Here we have two of them. This one with the S is the actual prime contract, and this one with the C is a change order to that prime contract. Both of them have been approved, and they're both ready to be invoiced. This is an actual project progress bill job, so we can talk about that in another time. But here on the billing tab, we would see all of the bills, all the progress bills in this particular case. We can see our estimate. We do keep track of job compliance, what are the requirements for this particular job, and all the vendors, if they're coded red, they are not compliant. So none of these vendors are compliant. Here's their commitments. On the commitments tab, we have a listing of all the subcontracts and all the purchase orders that are affiliated to this. Again, simply clicking on it will actually open up the subcontract and show all of the different line items that are associated to this subcontract. So everything is really easy to access. The settings, there's really quite a bit involved in the settings. There's a lot to this. We have the ability to have routing and approval of invoices and of purchase orders and subcontracts, and all of these features can be turned on or off and used or not used. So, and that's something that we work with our customers as we're going through an implementation. But for the most part, this is a high-level overview of what the 2020 Construction Cloud does, and that's really what we wanted to get accomplished today. We hope we have the opportunity to speak with you one-on-one and maybe show you and answer any particular questions that you may have. feel free to give us a call, shoot us an email, or look for us online. Appreciate your time and look forward to talking with you.